What's up, guys? Boogie back again, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, support your boy. Road to 10,000 subscribers. We have so much to talk about, so let's go. Let's get it.
I do want to quickly, because I was going to speak on a couple of things when it came to like meeting in the middle and trying to make sure we acknowledge Trev's feelings. Because in the last 2 days of 2025, I want to be a new woman and I will care about men's feelings for the last 2 days in 2025. So real quick before I get to that, I do kind of want to
She's trying
touch
to be
on
funny.
a little bit of something what Naomi said when she said that men lose more in divorces. That's not true.
That's true.
The person who typically get, especially when there's a child involved, maybe if there's no child, I can reason with you. But if there's a child involved, because the vast majority of children go to live with the mom, being the custodial parent impedes your ability to to gain wealth like exponentially.
So why then do women fight to get 90% custody and giving the dads visitation or 2 days out of the week? If women are so concerned about being broke because they're the main custody, why do they tell the judges to give them custody of the kids?
Like when a person is the custodial parent, they cannot work overtime. They typically are restrained
They
by
fight
children's
for that.
activities. They typically have all these other things they have to do that they have to make the child a priority. And because that is most often the woman, and when they divorce, she gets custody.
Because she
No,
asked for it.
no, he does not suffer more. We live in capitalism. So that
Oh
means
my
we have
God.
to think about the financial constraints of things before we think about the emotional constraints. Um, so yeah, before we think about that, and that is a huge effect on a woman. You cannot say men suffer more in a divorce. No, they do not.
Yes,
Both
they do.
parties suffer. Both parties are heartbroken. Oftentimes divorces end. There is no person who is at fault. There's simply a person who files. That does not mean the woman is at fault. No. Oftentimes, if she's going to file, that means he did something too. That's filled with heartbreak. And then you add in children that you have to now be full time present for when you sever ties and you live separately. No, like what statistic tells you that men suffer more?
The statistic where when there's a divorce, the man is usually told to leave the house so the woman can stay in the house with the kids, but he keeps paying rent and mortgage for that same house, and she can bring another man to clap her cheeks in the same house that he's still paying for. That kind of statistic.
So I'm just going to touch on that. And I do want to meet somewhere in the middle with you, Trev, because I do understand that divorce is hard on men. That's a real thing, right? Like y'all just can't survive without us. We're so great. And you do need us, I know. So like when we leave, like it's tough. But like if I'm gonna be serious, like you are conditioned and socialized to not respect emotions because being logical is considered the masculine thing, i.e., the highest currency. Emotions is considered here when it comes to logical reasoning. And then somehow you now are committing your life to trying to be with an emotional being, according to y'all. Somebody who is emotional, right? And you don't understand why that doesn't work out because you
I
claim you're
agree.
this superior being I lead because I'm masculine, but you don't have the time or energy to acknowledge the emotions of a woman, the logical side of a woman, and also children who are highly intuitive beings. So you can't connect with your child because you're not emotional, and children are intuitive and emotional. You can't connect with a woman because she's emotional. You were told that's GAY, so you can't do that. And then you wonder why the marriage doesn't work out. That is fundamentally a flaw in the system of patriarchy that men have created that y'all have to recognize.
Oh
That's
my
the root
God.
cause of it. And if you want to solve the overall problem about men being so sad, you really need to like consider that.
First of all, she said a bunch of bullshit. She's a feminist. So if you want to know if a woman is a feminist, everything they say, there's always patriarchy. They always mention the word patriarchy. The only thing she said that is right is the fact that most men don't realize how emotional women are. Most guys get into a relationship thinking You know, she's going to be cool like him, cool and collected, calm and collected, no nagging. And then they realize, oh my God, she's so emotional. Oh my God, it's that time of the month. Oh my God, she's already nagging me. So, guys, before you get into a relationship, realize you're dealing with a very emotional being. And sometimes that may not be for you. So she was right about that.
You know, I appreciate Pretty trying to attempt to be a decent person with 48 hours left in 2025. That just speaks to her brand. So, shout out to you, showing up with the buzzer shot
Look
at
at
the
her little
last
look of
minute.
surprise.
Um, we're not gonna do that, right? I think what Trev said is extremely valuable. I'm glad we're having these conversations because ultimately we're trying to find results, right?
No.
Um, this is a new regime. Men are at a place now to where we're trying to convey to the women of the world, according to Pretty, we can't live without you guys, but that's fair. That's her opinion. Miss Pearl seems to agree. Uh, so I think that people are starting to get back on track on seeing that life really only matters around relationships, that's the significant part of life.
What type of
All things
relationship?
aside, we need each other, cool. But I do believe that there still is a divide because whether it's patriarchy, whether it's media, um, the entering into a relationship looks very different from the man's perspective as well as the female's perspective. So I don't know if it's accurate to say that we're incapable as men in order to arrive at knowing how to nurture a relationship. I believe that both parties do need to develop and grow in the current conditions that are relationships now, because there's things that men are dealing with now that they didn't have to deal with at one point. Mainly things outside of relationships, business structure, media, technology, so on and so forth. And we have a class of women who are arriving at a place to where they're bringing different things. From what I remember growing up, most men didn't even really socialize with women outside of instruction. So this whole new, well, tell me how you feel is new for most men, in mass, right? And I think that, yeah, a response like Trev gave, maybe myself, maybe even mine, will be more consistent because one thing we are trying to do as development is speak to the pain and the discomfort that men are experiencing. You know,
Yeah, but men are speaking up and women like her don't like it. These women would rather men don't talk about divorce. These women would rather men don't talk about what they go through when divorce happens. These women would rather men just keep marrying them and not think about what could happen if divorce happens. They would rather men don't speak up about their issues. You know, it's funny how it went from men don't speak up to now men are speaking up, but now they don't believe what men are saying. Before they say men don't open up to us, tell us how you feel. And then the moment men talk about divorce and what they're going through, and then they're like, oh, that's the patriarchy. How about, okay, let's stop divorcing men and trying to take half their shit. Let's stop divorcing men and taking the kids away from them.
to even create the divide that, well, if you're not rich, don't worry about it, is extremely dismissive and is extremely visceral in a lot of ways because we know that numerically most people are not rich. So that's almost a irrelevant talking point. The fact is that majority of things that are surrounded around relationships are on a normal basis. And there are men that are stuck in their process in the demise of a relationship, which is why I said earlier I advocate that men start having more conversations and aligning with women who have something to lose. Because what
Mm-hmm.
I found to be interesting is that the way we talk about relationships and how they may fail and the financial weight will fall on us, you'll find that most women talk the same way when they have actually something to lose. When they're entering into a relationship where their 401k is up for grabs or all the things that they work to achieve are now being subject to being, split down the middle. Or, gosh, I've watched women online talk about, how dare I have to pay a man to leave the relationship, which is what something sometimes what we're saying.
Yeah,
If
times have
if we're
changed.
gonna divorce, I really think that the law should change. If I have to pay you alimony and we no longer going to be together in a marital state, then I should be able to have access to your body. I should be able to
Yeah,
drop by whatever address you live at and still get a meal, get my clothes washed, and bust it down if
yeah,
I'm still paying for your lifestyle. And
He's
I
yeah.
right.
I agree.
and I believe that that would cause a different type.
Hmm.
What happened? What happened? What happened? What I
Yeah, you see, they don't like it. They would rather divorce a man and the man keeps paying them money, alimony, spousal support, while the next man claps them cheeks. To be honest, I'm starting to think men don't have an issue with splitting 50-50, resources with a woman after divorce. I think most men have an issue with, you took some of my property, I'm still paying you alimony, spousal support, but another man is clapping them cheeks, yet I'm still paying you and I'm not with you. You're not cooking me a meal. True is right. If I'm going to keep paying you spousal support, I might as well clap them cheeks.
I never hear you speak like that.
You definitely threw him off with that one, True.
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna tell you right now.
I mean,
It's the truth.
logical because
I don't disagree, right, per se, right, but I'm just saying you definitely threw them off saying that.
Oh, I think he was trying to finish.
no, but you good. It's cool. It's just logical. If we're going to stay tied to the man or the person with the resources, then I feel like, okay, cool. Well, you can go ahead and go down the merry way, but we're going to stay connected financially. I still need access to all the things that do make you great, since we are incapable of living without you guys. And
I just
So, uh, so, um, speaking to what Pretty was saying earlier, again, and Trev, True, you brought it up again about the alimony, and that was her point. Um, before is that we're using these celebrity or these people that are making this amount of money that will be paying alimony, which is not going to happen for the average person. And even when it does happen, alimony is not permanent. Usually it's anywhere from 1 to 5 years, right? So that shouldn't even be a thing that men should concern. Most men, majority of
Why
men,
not?
should even concern themselves with in regards to divorcing and thinking that they're going to have to continue to pay for a woman's lifestyle.
But it happens. 5 years? How about we switch it? How about we switch it and this woman pays her ex-husband money, spousal support for 5 years? Is she gonna just talk about it? Oh, it's just 5 years. Don't worry about it. You see, this is what I was telling you. Women would rather men don't talk about divorce, would rather men don't talk about spousal support, would rather men don't talk about child support, would rather men don't talk about child custody. The same women who told men, you should open up to us, tell us how you feel, stop holding things in, open up to us. Now men are telling them, this is the issues we have, and then they're just taking them as if, oh, it's just 5 years of spousal support. Why do you care? Why are you so worried about divorce? Oh my God, it's not such a big deal. Just find the one for you. Yet the one for you is also going to divorce you, and you have to pay her spousal support when another guy is clapping them cheeks.
Through alimony. Yeah. What's a guarantee? And then another thing is that they mix up alimony and child support. Those are two different things,
We
right?
know.
When people are getting divorced, they're looking at, oh, they try to substitute child support as alimony and continuing to finance a woman's lifestyle, which is not the case. But just some of the statistics based on when you're looking at divorce and outcomes, and men are like, oh, well, that's why I don't want to get married for fear of divorce. It really should be women
No.
that are saying they fear divorce because of the outcomes that occur after divorce.
But they filed
Because
divorce.
when you look at it statistically, men typically bounce back quicker after divorce financially, even when paying child support. Women typically, if you end up in a like what you say poverty, they increases their likelihood of them ending up in poverty after a divorce.
Yeah, because they get used to the man paying them money, so they don't try to get a job all the time. And when she talks about men usually bounce back, maybe she's talking about the really rich guys. You know, the rich guys, 50 million, 10 million, 100 million, those guys don't really care. They will bounce back. But if she's talking about the average guy, how is the average guy going to bounce back when he has to pay child support for 18 years? Or maybe sometimes in some states you have to pay spousal support until she remarries. But we know if she's getting free money, she's never going to remarry. She's not going to let other guys clap them cheeks, but she's never going to get remarried unless she finds a richer guy.
They in terms of childcare and career development, all of those things, it hinders women. The likelihood of them getting remarried, decreases after a divorce, whereas men are more likely to end up getting remarried and
Because
get
men are the
remarried
prize.
quicker after a divorce. So when we look at those things statistically speaking, it appears that it would make more sense for women to be afraid to get married. And a lot of times men try to say, oh, women are doing that because they're trying to get on a come up, like through
That's
a
true.
divorce. But again, the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't support that reasoning. So
That's not true. If women were not trying to get a come up through divorce, they wouldn't file the most divorce. They wouldn't file divorce 80% of the time. And let's put it to the test. If women are really not trying to get a come up through divorce, let's change the divorce laws. Let's put a new law that if a woman divorces a man who makes more money, she doesn't take half. Let's put a new law. Let's see how many women will file for divorce. Let's see how many women will still get married if we change the divorce laws. Anyway, man, shout out to Lapif. Let's go to the next video. Let's go to Anton Daniels. Let's go from the beginning. Let's start it.
This question for the women on the panel: would you prefer for men to pursue virtuous women, not promiscuous, or would you prefer men to take women with a 15 plus high body count that is not as virtuous? What do you think that men, what would y'all prefer men do?
Right, I don't know what he's asking.
He's basically saying, do you think that it would be better for men to take women off the market? Well, I'm just going to try to summarize it the best I can. Would you think it would be better for men to take women off the market that's already on the market? Or would you think it's better for men to only pursue women that are more virtuous and not as promiscuous?
Virtuous any day.
I think a virtuous man should try to get a virtuous woman. If you're not a virtuous man, no, I do not think you deserve a virtuous woman.
What makes you virtuous?
Good question.
Well, I would say,
or what makes a man virtuous and what makes a woman virtuous?
Well, I would say according to the Bible. So I would say that you have to be a believer in Christ. I would say that you would have to be, it doesn't say you have to be a virgin as a man, but I think at this point it's much better that way. I think you have to be a man of morals, values, like pretty much follow the rules of the Bible.
So to conclude, and then that means that depending on when you gave your life to God, that the body count shouldn't matter then.
That's what she's saying.
No, the body. Wait, say that again.
So what you're saying is based off of when you gave your life over to God and how you live your life, that your past and your body count shouldn't matter because that's not the determination of whether or not you're virtuous now.
That's what she's saying.
Yeah. See, yes, but see? That's why I said the man would need to be virtuous too, because what I don't think is that a man who's not virtuous should be with a virtuous woman. So if he's virtuous, then yeah, he should look for a woman who's virtuous as well.
So this is what we call the born again virgins. You guys have heard of it? So she had a body count of 500 men. She finds Jesus and now she's a virgin again. So you gotta wait till marriage for her to give you some sex. Yeah.
Which doesn't necessarily exclude a woman with a high body count.
No, because I said the virgin thing is the preferred, but as adults, a lot of us miss that mark, obviously. So no, I don't think that the body count. Oh, that's tough.
She knows she wants to say
that's a tough one for.
Oh my God, Carrie.
That's a tough one. I gotta go to the word and see if it says something about that.
No.
I really can't.
I want your authentic reaction. I don't want you to get the answer that you think.
Okay, I would. Okay, so remove if I remove just the virgin thing, then yes.
Wow.
Oh. Virtuous is just such a perfect word, but that's a tough one, Anton, because I don't know if you dedicate your life after you made, poor choices, does that make you virtuous? It might make you a good person, a God-fearing person, like God is going to let you in, but do you get to gain the title of virtuous? Or is it those who stayed pure and did it the right way from the beginning, they earned the title of virtuous. And if you didn't do it that way, you just don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah, if you did it the right way from the beginning, then you're virtuous. Otherwise, if everybody who from the streets, you slept with 100 men, or now you found Jesus, now you're born again virgin, now you're making the next guy wait for marriage before sex, now you're making the next guy, want a godly. And for some reason, guys, I don't know why these women who finally find Jesus after being in the streets, they want a God fearing man, but they never find that man in the same church they found Jesus. Isn't that funny?
I got a question, Anton.
I don't know.
The Bible is saying that everyone should not have sex before marriage, not just women. So I would like to know, just in society, how does this only apply to women? Like, how does it only get applied to women and not men?
We need to apply it to
If
men.
you're supposed to be, meaning someone's supposed to be a Christian, then it applies to everybody, not just women.
What do you mean? How did it society? Society is made.
Meaning, like, I understand the whole bodies thing, right? We always talk about this, but my question is, when we talk about these things and we talk about virtuous, which most people are talking about it from a religious standpoint, in the religion of Christianity, nobody is supposed to have sex before marriage. There's no premarital sex. So if men are allowed to just go out and run amok, then they're not obeying the Bible.
Who said that we were allowed to?
Meaning, I'm saying, okay, the society norm is that men are going to be men and they're going to do what they do naturally. Okay. Going, conquering women and blah, blah, blah. And then the women are supposed to be virtuous. We're talking about women with body counts, because we're not going to talk about a man with a body count, right? So what I'm saying,
talk about it all the time.
Why does that? Yeah, but no man cares.
She's pretty much saying that the same way men are held to a certain standard when it comes to sleeping around, women are held to a certain standard, that men should be held to the same standard. But at that point, we also have to include how women want a man who makes money, who makes lots of money, but they don't make a lot of money. They want a man who's tall, but they're not tall. So it's about preference. Yes, the Bible says both of you shouldn't sleep around, but when it comes to preferences, women have certain preferences, certain double standards, and men do too. But when it comes to the body count, that's where women want equality. Again, they want equality when it benefits them.
About another.
But we don't evaluate ourselves based off of what other men think. Christianity is not about. It's not a democratic process. You know what I'm saying? It's not based off of how we feel. It's based off of what God said is right or wrong. So,
right.
So if you're evaluating it, if you're posing this question based off of what societal norms are, I would say that the question is not a good question at all, because you're not supposed to go based off of what society thinks. You go based off of whatever the word of God says. So just because we accept it in society, we accept holes in society too.
That's true.
Correct. I'm just saying.
That's true.
If this is getting applied, but it kind of mixes up society norms and religious norms. So
you can't combine the two, because we're not.
The virtuous comes from the religious norm. The
whole idea of what the word of God says is to be in the world, but not of the world. You can't live based off of the standards that the world is saying. Obey the rules and the laws of the land, but at the same time separate yourself. The whole idea of being saved is to be sanctified.
Exactly.
That means to be without spot, wrinkle, or blemish. Now that could apply differently depending on whether or not you want to include the whole Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament, and all of that stuff. But the fact of the matter is, to be saved and sanctified is to be set aside, separate, right? Saved, sanctified, separated, and all of that stuff. So you have to separate yourself from the world once you give your life over to God. And so the idea of it is, if we're trying to base our societal norms or if you're trying to base Christianity off of societal norms, then I would say that you can't do that. Just because the world accepts it doesn't mean that that's applicable in Christianity.
Right,
Exactly.
but then where would the whole societal norm of virtuous women come from, if not religion?
It's a
What do you mean?
preference. Because she's talking about this question, but it's a preference. It's a man's preference. The same way women prefer tall men, women prefer rich men. It's a preference.
What we're talking about is religious based in itself, even if you don't put Christianity.
No, we're talking about the question that's being asked.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying why is it applied if technically across the board nobody's supposed to have these body counts? Why
Right.
is it applied in a Christian society, which America supposedly is, right? Why is that applied when technically nobody is supposed to have it?
I don't think that America is just a Christian society anymore. I think it's a melting pot of a lot of different people from a lot of different cultures. I don't think that marriage is only based off of what Christianity says that it is. You could be married and not necessarily be a Christian, for example. We have our own rules and standards that is in addition to the rule of law of the land. So, for example, right, our societal standard now is that gay people can get married. That's not applicable to us because us as Christians and listening to the word of God, we believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. Doesn't mean that we accept it, but we have to deal with it because that's the world and the land that we live in. But we're supposed to hold ourselves to a higher standard as far as what we accept and what we don't accept. So just because society says that this is right or wrong, everything is not applicable to Christians. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, you can't mix God and society. Even God, and I'm not even that religious, but remember, I think there's a part in the Bible where Jesus says, "Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar." You gotta separate the two.
Because everybody else doesn't mean that that's based off of what it is that we set our standards on.
Okay, well, I'll answer the question. Mika, are you finished with that part of it? Yeah,
I don't think that Mika likes that answer. Because the
No,
original
I didn't know I was on mute. I didn't know I was on mute. I was saying, yeah. I was saying, you can go ahead.
Okay. So I don't know if he meant it this way by going from virtuous to 15 plus, but I see a lot of room between that's like 14, 15 mistakes you can make. So I'm like, okay, I'll give you a few of those, right? I would say that I would prefer the men to pursue virtuous women again, because the next part of that is 15 plus. I think that again, that gives her a little wiggle room, right? But I believe that if men were only choosing virtuous women, that would make women's standards change. That would change their behavior.
That's
It
true.
would change what they wanted from men because now they're limited to 14 instead of 100 or whatever. So they would have higher standards for the men would have higher standards from women, and I think we would just turn society on its head.
So you
To
think
be for the
that
better.
women would be different if men only pursued virtuous women?
Mhm.
Yes,
They wouldn't have a choice.
they would have to change. I agree.
Why is the question so long? Why he didn't just ask, would you prefer men to pursue virtuous or non-virtuous women? Like, why did he take this whole time to like, what the fuck?
I think that the question went into virtuous versus non-virtuous. But if we really want to summarize it, he's saying that would you prefer that men pursue women that are already on the market that have a pass, or only deal with women that don't have a pass?
Hmm.
I think men should pursue women who they would want their future daughters to be like. You
That's
want her
true.
to be promiscuous or the future females to be promiscuous? That's what y'all should approach. If y'all want them to have some morals and virtues, That's who y'all should approach as women.
I agree.
So that
Because
would
that's
mean
who's
that,
going to be raising the future women
that would mean that people don't change.
in the future. Well, at one point in society, we had a little bit more standards than we do now. So people change. People change with the times.
Mm.
The standards get more relaxed. Of course, people are going to take advantage of some relaxed standards. Why
And
would you?
that's my point. When the standards relax, all of society does. You put the standards back, and everybody will shape up.
If a
I
man
don't
is going
think
to
so.
accept me with my boobs and booty out,
I
why would
don't
I
think
cover
so.
up?
I don't think so. I don't think it has anything to do with standards. No, but we about to go dark.
I'm good. I'm out.
All right, good night. I don't think it has anything to do with standards. The only way that you can change, in my opinion, women's behavior is to remove their freedom.
Right. Which if the men changed how they pick, that does remove their freedom. You don't get to do whatever you want and still be married the way that you want to. So
I
now
agree.
there's restrictions on your freedom.
No, I'm saying that you're saying that women will do better in order to meet the expectations of men, but they still have freedom to choose. I'm saying that the only way that you change it is to remove their freedom to choose for themselves altogether.
Damn. No voting. They don't
That's the
like
only
it.
way that you can change a woman's behavior. There's this perception, and again, I'm open to being wrong. There's this perception that women will adjust when men when they set a different standard. I disagree with that.
Yeah, it's too late for
I
that.
believe that women are going to be rebellious no matter what.
I agree. And the issue is even the women who don't sleep around, the women who quote unquote whores in the streets and shit like that, their friends do that. So if you find a woman who doesn't do that, most times she agrees. Her friends are usually women who do that for some reason. So there's the sisterhood is what they call it. For some reason they always never hold the other women accountable. So guess what? Maybe because they know one day they may want to do the same thing. So that's why he's right, and I agree. Women don't really want to change. That they will find a way, and the fact that there's always gonna be a man who's willing to go with a woman who has been for the streets, that also doesn't help.
And the only way to prevent women from doing the thing that's not right is to restrict them from doing it all together.
I don't know. I mean, you're not going to change all women to be sure. You're going to still have some scarlet letters running around out there, but they're going to be the outliers.
No, I think they'll be the majority. Women will do whatever they want. They will sleep with each other.
That's true.
They
They're
will go
getting
get a
married to each other.
rose. They will go on girls' trips. They will go to other countries and get fucked by Jamaicans. Like they do all kind of shit. They do. They do all kind of shit.
That's true.
Oh man, that's crazy.
It's true.
So if you telling me that us being righteous is going to change their behavior, I'll tell you the only reason that we in this situation in the first place is because now women got the freedom to choose for themselves.
Yep.
It would just be a bunch of single women running around. If that's what the standard was, women would just be single and be okay with that.
That would be
y'all stick anything up in there.
It's not just about that though. There's plenty of women whose like ultimate goal is to be a mother. You're not getting a child from a rose.
Hey,
Man is leaving a sperm in cups for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And fucking the shit out of that rose.
So give me the cup and give me a rose, and y'all good to go. Like it's a fucking pill at night.
Yeah, I need you not to do that. Keep it in your body. Not in
Fucking the shit. As long as we continue to civilize the world and make it cool for y'all to live in and make it comfortable, unless we go back to hunter-gatherer or we just completely restrict your ability to make a decision for yourselves, women will always be rebellious.
What is the
like the hunter-gatherer? We would all die. There would be so many men like, ew, a snake. I'm not. No, none of us would make it.
What was the cup?
Nah, if we go back to hunter gatherers, men will adjust. Men were meant to. I mean, those who don't adjust are gonna have to die off. You feel me? Like, for example, during the times of war, You either fight to survive or you die off. There's no other way. You feel me? But at the end of the day, I don't think women are changing anytime soon. They are who they are. And the same, men can change, men can adjust. That's why we have videos of men trying to make money, trying to get taller, trying to work out to look good for women. But when women do those things, they never say they're doing it for men. They say they're doing it for themselves.
In a rose.
Hmm?
What was a cup in a rose?
Nothing.
Cup is the sperm in the rose. As y'all's nut.
Don't even ask why the sperm is in the cup. Just let it go.
Yeah, that's what you busting that in the fertility clinic place, whatever.
And I will go. Oh man, now
I got you, Molly.
Really go there. I will go so far as to say that when you restrict a woman's freedom, that's when she truly experiences bliss. That's when she truly experiences the best version of herself.
No, not anymore.
Fucking women.
When you make a decision for her and you tell her to shut the fuck up, that is when a woman is in her greatest moment. That's when she's in her true femininity. That's when she's in the best space ever.
Not anymore.
And
Not anymore.
And I'll also tell you that most women desire it subconsciously. They just don't want to admit it because it'll make them feel like they're a pygmy.
They desire leadership, yes. Do they desire to be talked to like that?
100%.
Hmm.
And
Not anymore.
And if a woman rejects that, I believe she just hasn't experienced it yet in the right way, from the right person.
I disagree.
100%.
Kim, didn't somebody tell you that they didn't like me because I cussed them out?
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Oh, wow.
How many women do we know that just got their ass kicked by life and they on the internet saying, oh my God, I want to be submissive. Take my rights away. I just want to be up under a man. I don't want to choose for myself. I don't want to know nothing. I just want to do this. I want to do that, whatever, blah, 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 blah. They're openly admitting it now.
Yeah, that's after they turn 45. You know, that's after the career they tried to chase didn't work out. But you find a woman who's making money and you tell her to shut up, she's gonna tell you shut up, nigga. No, what do they say? No, they say fuck you bitches, nigga. They say something like that. Women, oh my God, women have a tongue. So the days of telling a woman to shut up and you think she's gonna shut up, she's gonna go come for your neck. Like, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
Life is so much better when
you disagree.
What, that women don't want to think for themselves?
But what did you say? Your body language said otherwise.
I didn't say anything. I thought my face was blank. Maybe it wasn't. I meant for it to be.
Nigga, you be having all the shit, nigga.
I want to work on that.
No, I mean, I want to know what's your perspective on that? I want to know.
They disagree.
I think at this point, life is outside of what women flourish in. Like working all day, I don't think that that's in our nature. I don't think that it's natural. And I think that
was natural.
To go outside of the home and work all day and do whatever it is you have to do outside. I don't think any of that is natural. I think we're supposed to be in the house nurturing, whether that's nurturing our baseboards or nurturing some food on the table. Like we're not supposed to be out there cooking or hustling like that.
You fought
so
for
you
those
agree
rights.
with me, you just don't like the way I said it.
I agree with you. I just don't think that you need to talk to people like that. I think that you can assert dominance without having to cuss somebody out.
I ain't cussing nobody out.
Hold on a second. You think that what I said and how I said it, that's considered cussing somebody out?
You use curse words.
But do you think that that's me cursing somebody out?
I think that's you cussing at somebody. I don't necessarily believe that that's cussing somebody out, but you are cursing at somebody and you can do what you need to do without doing that.
Nah.
So you said you have to use those words, potty words. That's what you're saying. You have to use all the 4-letter words that are out there in order to get your point across and for her to be submissive.
If that's how she's gonna listen. Anyway, man, shout out to Anton Daniel. Link down below. Let's go to the next video. Let's go to Ali. Let's cook. Let's go.
The fact that we got to do all this because a woman can't control her womb, that's one thing. But if we go to the actual end of and walk all this all the way to the end of what actually happens, women leave the men they married and had kids with and become single mothers anyway. That's the biggest way they become bigger single mothers as well too. They leave the man that they do marry. They don't cooperate with the men who nuts in them, and they have the choice to only have sex with husbands and who their dad picked, but they chose sexual liberation and going raw with no condoms and feminism, knowing once they open their legs, there's a chance they can get an STD or become a single mom. It's my body, my choice till it's time to blame a man.
They don't care.
Again, like we got lost in the comparison because that's the point he made. But at the beginning of
you didn't even address that.
It's an option. No, because
you didn't even address that.
I previously made the point and it was ignored. He previously mentioned, whether the type of surgery was. When my whole point was that men can do things for the
no, ma'am.
That was already
Tara, that's not the point, Tara. If you keep your legs closed to everybody except for your husband, won't we stop this single mother epidemic?
If men kept their penises in their pants, that would
no, man. We can't take sex. No, Tara. Most men can't get sex or access to y'all. It's only a minority of men y'all having sex with. Most of them
ones. You have access because you already said
no,
most
ma'am.
men
I'm
can't
ask again,
a woman.
ma'am. I can't take sex from you. You have to choose to open your legs and to let me in. I have to go inside.
Women being forced to have babies in the South.
Then that's a crime.
Because of law. But no. If you kept your penis in your pants, there would be no baby either. It goes.
Yeah, but if you close your legs, my penis wouldn't be in you. Come on.
Right. No, to both ways.
Can I talk now? Because I don't waited like 10 minutes. Can I say one thing without Tara interrupting me? I'm sorry, because I let you talk, Miss Tara, and I understand that it take 3 days for a tubes tied and 1 day for vasectomy. If it take you 10 minutes to run a mile and take me 20 minutes to run a mile, that's just what it is. Oh, well, it's still, we ran the mile. At the end of the day, a man can get his stuff clipped and just like a woman can get her stuff tied, but women have control access to sex. Point blank, period. We ain't screwing until you want to screw. I ain't no diddying going on. And a man will consent to sex. It doesn't mean that he's consenting to a family. Point blank, period. Having a baby with a man that says he doesn't want to have the baby, you are literally financially raping him. You are making him doing something against his will. Point blank, period. Because if a man was to make a woman do something against her will, she'd be up at the goddamn police station calling grape. So it's very interesting that women can make us do things against our will. Hey, Miss Tara, I don't want to have this baby. I'm not ready to be a father. Tough titty, Nietzsche. You gonna have it anyway because you did it. But you gave me access to sex. I didn't consent to a family. I was just cracking. And so I think it's very interesting that women make all the decisions after the sex has happened when that's the only thing the man had consented to. And then now they want us to be share responsibility. How can I share responsibility if I didn't share in the choice? How can I share in the responsibility of this situation if you didn't consult with me? I didn't have any say so of what happened. You did whatever the hell you wanted to do. Well, then do whatever the hell you want to do. And if I choose to be a real man, which I have, I'm going to stand there on the paint. But if I don't, that's not my fault. That's yours because you chose to have that baby, carry it 9 months, push it out the cat, and goddamn now it's here. I'll be quiet.
Also, they only talk about when they want to keep the baby and the man doesn't want the baby. You guys ever notice that? They only talk about when they want to keep the baby. They don't talk about the times when the man is like, hey, listen, please don't end my baby. Don't delete my baby. There are so many men who definitely beg women not to remove the baby, but the woman goes on to do it because she screams, my body, my choice. And the man can't do nothing. He can't go to court. He can't sue. He can't do nothing about it because it's my body, my choice. But the moment she wants to keep the baby and the guy is like, I don't want to be a father, then she's like, oh my God, these deadbeat dads. Then she takes him to child support court, right? So I would say, if you're going to say my body, my choice, you can choose when to keep the baby and when not to keep the baby. Don't put the man on child support if he decides he doesn't want the baby. Because if he was a broke man who had nothing going on, you wouldn't keep the baby. Well, sometimes they do.
And hold on, hold on. Hey, hold on. Hey, Ebony.
Yeah.
If a man goes inside of a woman, she should have the choice to tell him to get out, right?
So
Yep.
absolutely. And what I was
Yes.
going to say is,
So,
yes,
and
but
so to land, if the man comes inside of you, you should still make sure this man wants to, whether he wants to be a father or not, correct?
first of all, we're not doing that if we ain't had that conversation. That's not happening.
No, man. We don't have to have. No, ma'am. Listen to what you just said. Hey, Ebony. Hold on, Ebony. Do I have to have the conversation with you of whether when you tell me to get out, I need to come out with you before we have sex? Hey, Ali. If you come inside, like insert yourself inside of me, make sure when I say get out, get out. Do we have to have that conversation?
Nope.
First of all, you're
answer that?
asking the question
Ebony, can
because
you
you're asking
answer-
the questions that
No,
are
I'm not.
my reality. Because
No,
no, yes, you are.
Ebony,
You're leading. You're
Ebony.
trying to lead to a question.
No,
I'm
it's
not
he's
leading to it.
testing your logic.
You said we need to have the
Oh my God.
conversation. I'm gonna ask you
We-
again.
because we're going to have a conversation. It's not going to get to that point where, first of all, if we're having,
Can you answer my question?
Can I finish my thought? Because I think it's really.
If you can answer my question, of course.
Can I finish my thought?
We're gonna come right back though.
Okay, that's fine. We could come back to it. Right. So what I'm saying is, I'm not negating for fact. I agree with every man on here that says women have access to it. Because let me tell you, if I did not want kids, there's a million of men, niggas will go raw for less. That's just how y'all made. And I'm just saying, y'all don't think niggas will go raw for less. So with that being said,
That's true.
I'm going to acknowledge. Hold on, can I finish?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to acknowledge that as a woman, yes, you're right. I've controlled the narrative. I control whether he's a condom because I'm not depending on a man to do that because I know y'all don't. Sorry, but I'm just saying. Y'all don't think at that moment.
Y'all don't
biologically,
like
y'all not thinking
condoms.
with y'all brain. So
Y'all don't like condoms. We have literally reacted to videos where women are saying if a man pulls out a condom, they tell him no more sex because he has a condom. Come on.
therefore, I'm going to control whether or not how this goes down and what happens to me. However, let me say this. I'm saying that is women control access. I agree 100%. Absolutely. But let's not take, if you're going to talk about the epidemic of single parenthood, you cannot put all the weight on the woman too. When they have sex and that man also agrees. Now, granted, she agrees to sex. That man agrees to, okay, we're going to do it and we're going to do it without protection. Nigga, both of y'all responsible. Y'all is equally responsible at that point because why
No.
you going at her wrong?
No.
Why are you doing it? So you're telling me the brunt of everything. That's not even a logical statement. You're telling me the brunt then falls on the woman because you carried a baby.
Yes.
So then you make the choice. You could have put on a condom just as well.
Okay,
Yes,
No, the woman has most of the responsibility. Again, if she decides to keep the baby, she wants to put me on child support. But if she decides to remove the baby, there's nothing I can do. So that's why women should have most of the responsibility because they make the choice. Remember, my body, my choice? So if you decide to keep the baby, don't put me on child support. Especially if I told you I don't want to be a father. Right? Because you had a choice to either close your legs or to open your legs and let me clap them cheeks. And you did let me. But you knew I was not a man to have a baby with, but you go on to keep the baby because you think you're gonna trap me into a relationship.
Don't ask us, but why wasn't there a conversation?
Okay, I'm gonna ask
with
three
two
mothers.
mature adults?
I'm gonna ask three mothers, mother mentalities. One day you'll be a mother, Ebony. Hopefully, Courtney's already a
Maybe
mother.
not. I don't want to be.
Hold on, and Tara might, by her answer, she might be a mom as well too. If we're raising kids together, and we teach our daughters to practice safe sex after we tell her she should wait till marriage, to have sex. If she gets pregnant and doesn't make sure someone has a condom or uses birth control, whose fault is it? Her fault or the boy's fault?
Her fault.
Y'all still skipping a step.
No,
Y'all have to start answering questions.
I'm not answering my question. Remember what I told you?
Hey, 1 second. Let's do this, right? Before the show, Ali actually did a disclaimer. He says, we are not going to over pursue, but please answer the questions because we are going to answer yours. If you ask a question to Chiki and Chiki starts to tap dancing and going around it, I'll say, Chiki, you didn't answer the question. So if y'all are so afraid of answering the question, doesn't that say something about actually you're trying to dodge something? Just answer the question and you can ask leading
They
questions
don't want to
Ali
because they're losing.
to see if he doesn't answer, I'll make sure he does. Okay? Let's
Well,
do
he
that.
answered just
For
the
a
mom,
second.
not mom. So y'all go ahead. Y'all
Oh, you're not gonna answer.
Oh, so you're not going to answer?
You said to the mother. That's what you
No,
said.
you too. I said you
You
could
said
possibly be a mother one
said
day.
to okay, well,
You gonna tell me what I asked?
So
Ebony,
what do you
I
ask
know
me?
I'm gonna ask you one day when you have a daughter. Hopefully, you're a great mother and you with a great father, and you raise your daughter to respect herself, and hopefully tell her to wait till she gets married to have sex. But if not, practice safe sex. If she gets pregnant, whose fault is that?
Her fault for opening them legs.
It's both of their fault. Whoever the little boy is and my daughter's fault. What do you mean? So you're saying
Hey,
it's
Ali,
only my daughter's fault? Like,
Ali,
Hey,
I have a better analogy, Ali. Hey, Ebony. Hey, Ebony, let's assume that you are a business owner, right? You own a nightclub, right? You own a nightclub. Ugly meat, money, and cheeky are the bouncers of the nightclub. I pull up on the nightclub with no shirt on. Yeah, let me in. Ali pulls up with flip flops, no shirt on. You let him in. There's 665 people watching the show right now. They pull up with no shirt on. Yeah, let them in. Who is at fault? The people that got inside of the nightclub with no shirt on, or the bouncers and the owner of the club that were at the door and said, "No, you can come in. It's good. Yeah, you can come in."
Another question not answered. Another question not answered.
the question is that
It's kryptonite.
Please, one second. Hey, y'all woman ask for good communicators, and y'all showing that you don't appreciate that.
'Cause they
Y'all
don't like the
literally
truth.
beg, I want the man to be a good communicator, and y'all can answer a straight question. Answer the question. Please. I'm talking. Be a good communicator. Be a good communicator, like y'all ask your boyfriend and your husband to be, and after that you can explain everything you want. Okay? Let's try it again. Ebony, who is at fault? The bouncer of the nightclub or the person getting
here's
in
the
with no
truth.
shirt?
that's two different scenarios you're comparing.
How? How are they two different scenarios? It's the same scenario. One person comes and you let them in. You open your legs and I'm gonna clap them cheeks. But if you don't open your legs, I won't be able to clap them cheeks and I won't be able to nut in you. It's the same thing.
Do you understand what you're comparing? Sex and a bouncer?
No,
It's
no,
testing
we trying to
logic.
respect Ebony's freedom to tell the truth and answer the question.
No,
Y'all
because
ask
that's
men.
the
Hold on,
topic.
hey, Ebony.
Ask me
Hold on,
something
Ebony. Hold on,
the
Ebony.
said
Ebony.
topic.
Y'all realize what that is? Hold
you
on,
have different
Ebony.
stand on topic.
That was an analogy. He was trying to give you an example.
He was
I
testing
understand
your
analogy.
logic.
We're talking about a specific instance. Can we stick to the original?
Okay, no,
scenario?
man. I will. Hey, ma'am. Hey, who controls what goes inside of your body?
I do, absolutely.
Whose
That's
fault
it.
is it if something gets in there?
Can I finish though? Because
Answer the question.
You didn't answer it again. That's okay. I got you.
I'm gonna answer your question. Can I? If I can talk. If I can talk.
No, Ebony. Ebony, 1 second. Ebony, 1 second. Ebony, just 1 second.
Y'all don't
You
have to
can
let me finish.
no, hey Ebony, no, 1 second. No, hey, everybody quiet, please. You are gaslighting us right now. We are allowing you to talk. The problem is that you want to say what you want to say. You want to go on monologues. You say, Fatty, are you circumcised or not? And I say, to be or not to be? That's the question. You know, my father wants to like you can be doing that. Like
that doesn't
no.
It's
Hey,
testing
no,
logic.
No, Ebony, 1 second. It's called an analogy, right? It's called an analogy. Hey, Ebony, you don't have to open your mouth every time I open my mouth too, right?
You do it. I'm learning from you.
Yeah, but it's wait. Is that you? That you? That doesn't look like you.
That's not true.
Is that you? This look like you. Is that you? No, it's right. Okay. So I want to talk with you, but you have to talk with me. The bouncer analogy means nobody gets inside of that club if the bouncer doesn't allow it. And if I try to jump over the line and get inside of that club,
you're gonna kicked out.
It's forcible entry, if you know what I mean, and I go to jail because I went inside of the nightclub and nobody gave me access to that shit. Right? This is what we're talking about. It's a very clear and simple analogy. If I get inside of that club forcibly, I'm going to jail because I forced the entrance. So you are going to tell me, Ebony, if I don't get inside of that club forcibly and I come in and I say, Miss Ebony, can I come inside of the club without the shirt on? And you say, yes, Fatty, have it your way. We have drinks over there. You have a lounge over there. You can get some hookah over there. Who fault it is? Is that me or you for allowing me inside to be without the shirt on?
The owner of the club, but the only reason she's not answering the question is because she doesn't want accountability. Women want to let men, you know, clap them cheeks, bust nuts, but they don't want to take any accountability in the whole process. That's why they can come back 10 years later and then they say, oh my God, I didn't know what happened. I just found myself with my legs open and he was inside of me. You literally let me in. You know, that usually happens when the man makes money, right? Let's say by the time she let you clap them cheeks, you were broke, and then 10 years later, you have $100 million. She's going to come back. Oh my God, I don't know what happened. I just remember I went out with him. Then before I knew it, I woke up in the morning and my legs were open. No accountability.
So weird. All right. I absolutely
Go ahead and interrupt it.
In a club setting, I want to get back to what Ali said because Ali really started the point.
Oh, you doing it again?
But anyway, if it's a club setting, absolutely, it's yes. They are.
What does the club symbolize?
In a club.
Oh no, one second, please. What does the club symbolize, Ebony?
No. I'm not going to do that because I want to do. Can we talk directly about that? Why are you not?
We are literally talking with each other.
From the original issue. Why are you navigating away from that?
No. What does the club symbolize? What is the club?
What Ali, if I'm fucking your name up.
No.
But
Ebony,
what you originally said.
Ebony.
The original question.
Ali, let it go. It's fine. Let it go. It's fine.
Please, can we get back to the real what he asked?
Okay, talk. Let's see what.
So I asked you the same. You have children? Let me get in your part.
Yes.
You have children?
But yes. I
do
can answer your
you have a
question.
son? Do you have sons?
Yes, 2.
Okay. So how old are your sons, if you don't mind me asking?
3
It's
and
irrelevant.
10 months. They're not there
Okay,
yet.
so you have little babies. Okay.
Little babies.
All right. So let me ask you this. So if your 17-year-old son comes home and lets you know that, hey, I got little Cindy who lives down the street. Dad, I got her pregnant. So we're gonna have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Are you telling me there's no conversation had between you and the son because you're solely placing the blame on little Katie who lived down the street?
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be no conversation with your son about what he has also contributed to making a baby. Can you answer that?
There would definitely be a conversation with
Why?
my son. But it's the fact that he released inside of you. That's not the conversation though. The conversation is
because that's the same thing.
Ebony, are you gonna let me? No, it's not. I said who allowed the person inside of them. The conversation wasn't about the fact that he released. The conversation was about the fact that he got inside of you raw. And the one thing you miss, Ebony, is 100% of the time when there's consensual sex and a man gets in there raw, you wanted that raw D2. So it's not the man who just wanted raw sex. You wanted to feel it raw as well too.
They don't like
just
condoms.
blame it on the man.
I'm not arguing with
Like,
you.
no,
but
again. No, so Ebony, no, Ebony. It would be obviously if a person gets pregnant, we both had some responsibility in it.
Okay,
The
that's
thing
all
that
I'm
we're saying is that if there's a mass amount of single mothers, they control who gets access to them, and they control whether we're gonna get married or not based on the fact if you make us wait to get inside of you before we become married. But women fought for feminism, women fought for sexual liberations, and then they made all these contraceptives. That's how corn got up here. That's how having premarital sex happens, and that's how consensual sex happens because women stopped wanting to be married before sex or having babies when married as well too. They didn't want to get pregnant. They wanted to be sexually liberated and not be held down by no man. And that's why we're here now, because we gave women all these options to not have to get married, but you can still get sex and have kids if you want it.
They pretty much want to do everything a man can do. So in terms of being for the streets and sleeping around without accountability. That's why even being in the streets and, sleeping with a bunch of guys, they still want the man to accept them the way they are. They won't accept a man who is short. They won't accept a man who doesn't make the money they think he should be making. They won't accept a man who's a mama's boy. They won't accept a man who's not masculine, who's not a leader. But they want a man of God. It's not they just want any man. They want a man who's rich, a man of God, to accept them after they're done with the streets. That's why they don't like the conversation of taking accountability for opening their legs. Because if they accept that they have accountability and they're in charge of opening their legs, then it puts the responsibility on them. No one is saying men shouldn't be held accountable. We are saying whoever opens the legs, whoever says yes, has huge percentage of a responsibility, but they don't want that because the moment they accept that, then no child support, then the false accusations tend to come down because if it was consensual, like Ali said, of which most times, if it's consensual, they can always stand back and say it was not consensual, because again, it goes back to the accountability. Also, we're talking about condoms. We know if a woman says, if you have no condom, no sex, that's what's going to happen, unless the man wants to go to jail and forces himself. But other than that, women control if a man puts on a condom or not. If he takes it off, that's jail. If he forces himself, that's jail. But majority of the time, women don't want the condoms. They've even made videos of where if you have a condom, they tell you no more sex because you think I'm sick, or you think I'm going to give you something, or you don't think you can pull out. Women literally don't want men putting on condoms. So I don't know what she's talking about. But anyway, man, shout out to Ali, shout out to Fadi. Link down below. Till next time, don't forget to like, subscribe. Peace.